Welcome back to Cup of Joe with the Jays, where we're just a bunch of idiots rambling on. Speaking of Cup of Joe, I think this is about the first episode we've done with actual coffee. Last night, I think we had one too many actual beers. Later on, you might see us crack open a beer, but until then, I think a Cup of Joe is exactly what's needed.
We got to let that one simmer a little bit. It was a little bit, it was a little bit too much.
Yeah.
We're not as young as we used to be before, and God bless America, man.
I'm telling you, like previous episodes, like I've said, my hangovers last days now. Days.
You ever notice, too, how you drink a beer, right? Like, you crack open that first one, you drink, and it's gone within, like, a blink of an eye, right?
Oh,
it's
my
like,
God, yes.
hey, where'd that go? How'd that happen, right? Then you crack open the second one, and it's like, oh,
What I find,
that one's gone, too.
What I find amazing is, so when you were younger, did you actually like the taste of beer?
Oh, dude.
Or did you think it tasted...
Beer was disgusting.
Like shit.
Yeah, it tasted like shit, right? But I think it's like you felt empowered to just power through it.
Yeah,
it's like everybody else, like,
they're watching me.
Oh man,
I gotta look cool.
Can't think.
Yeah,
they can't make them think. Yeah, I'm a little bitch or something. Like, oh no.
And I feel like as I have gotten older, the taste of beer has changed. I actually do enjoy beer now. Like I actually enjoy the taste.
Yeah, like
obviously everyone has their preferences. It's kind of like soda in the same way. You're like, you're either a Coca-Cola fan or you're a Pepsi fan.
Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, and to me, like, if you like, I'm not gonna say it because in case one day they might be like, "Hey, how dare you don't like our beer?"
How dare
so
you.
I've heard. Have you ever heard the saying like, "My favorite beer is a free beer"?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
My second favorite beer is a cold beer.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna ask me for a preferred beer, I like Corona.
Yeah.
I'm a Corona kind of guy.
Yeah.
Hey, Corona, if you wanna, I don't know,
Sponsor us?
I can guarantee you there'll be a Corona or at this point, any beer. Any beer, if you want to sponsor, we're here.
We're listening.
We're listening.
And we're drinking too.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's an agreement. Like I asked this the other day too at work. I was like, anybody like actually like Budweiser? I hate it. It tastes like shit. But if you still want to sponsor us, yeah, we'll drink the stuff anyway.
Now here's the thing though, I haven't had a Budweiser in a long time. I think Budweiser, when I started drinking, don't do this. So obviously everyone, when they're a teenager, probably has their first beer, their first taste of beer, right? If you're in a Hispanic family, I think you had it when you were probably 7 or 8. Yeah, I think my first beer was probably when I was like 7.
Yeah.
And it's always like your dad's like, "Hey, take a taste of this." And everybody's telling his friends, "Watch his face. He's going to hate this shit." And you're like, "What the fuck was that?"
What was that?
You like that? You like taste of shit in your
drink
mouth?
this
Icky.
Why would you put that in your body, man?
And now, as you get a teenager, obviously that's when either peer pressure or you're just like, "Hey, I do want to see what's all the fuss about." So you start drinking, and then you're like, "Hey, this ain't too bad. It makes me feel all warm and tingly inside."
Until then, you just start getting warm and wobbly.
I remember my first taste with actual hard alcohol. It was a buddy of mine. His name was Ted.
Yeah.
Ted was a funny fucker.
Yeah. It's always a funny fucker.
Oh yeah. So I'm sitting there, or we're walking through the campus, right? And it's fucking wintertime. It's snow on the ground. And this dude goes, "You want some water?" I was like, "No, dude, I don't want cold ass water. Fucking cold ass day. I'm outside. Get that away from me." He goes, "No, you want some water?" I was like, "I told you no, Ted." And he gave me. He goes, "No, you're gonna want some of this water." So I go, "Fuck it, give me this magical water." And I tasted it, and I was like, "That tastes nothing like water, Ted. What the fuck is that?" And he goes, "Schnapps." I was like, "What the fuck?" And I was a pain in the ass, but I think I was a pretty good kid.
Yeah.
I didn't really break the rules in fear of getting my ass whooped.
Right.
And obviously it did good for me in the future as far as job wise.
Right.
Staying, keeping your nose clean stuff keeps you, it has its rewards in the future. But back then I was like, "Oh my God, Ted, I can't believe you're fucking drinking on school premises.
How dare you?
Oh my God, we're going to get
God.
caught. We're going to get in trouble." But I don't know. I don't even know where we were going with that.
I don't know. Yeah. We already had a topic picked out and everything, and we just completely derailed from the get-go.
Hey, look, if you're listening, don't drink on school.
Yeah.
At school, or don't drink until you're legally of age.
Don't drink on the job either.
Yeah, don't drink on the job. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people that have
yeah.
been fired for that.
Hey.
Hey.
Yeah, sons of bitches.
Put the cough syrup at home until you get home. So, I do have something for you. Do you know the Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man. The one that lives on Drury Lane?
Yeah.
Well, did you know that, that's an old folklore song, right?
Yeah.
Were you aware of that?
Yeah.
Did you know where the origins for that song came?
No, I do not.
So that song was a warning to kids to be aware of a man who would give you muffins, to be aware of him and stay away. Because back in I want to say it's like late 1500s. So the guy's name was Frederick Thomas Linwood.
Okay.
And he was born 1563 to 1612. And so there's no surviving records. This is all, hearsay.
Yeah, word of mouth. Yeah.
Word of mouth.
Okay.
But this is the records back then. He was recorded as the first serial killer in England.
God damn.
So he was the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man. The song came as a warning to kids to keep them away from any guy who's trying to give you muffins, because he would lure kids with muffins, kidnap them, and then kill them.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, I would have been caught.
So, but there's no, from what I saw, there was, like I said, there's no surviving records.
Right.
So it's either one hell of a folklore or it's real and sick and disgusting. But obviously it's so old that I don't think anyone now understood why that song was made.
Huh.
But for everyone who watches Shrek from here on out, understand that the Muffin Man was a bad dude.
Yeah, he was a bad guy.
He's here to take your gumdrop
Oh.
buttons and your kids.
Oh, man. I don't
Yeah.
know what I was expecting from that one, but
No.
yeah, Muffin Man was a bad guy. Damn.
So now it makes you wonder,
So-
like all these other old fairy tales and stuff. Where were their origins? Where were they based off of? Were they based off of some something creepy like that? Because
Right.
obviously now you hear the Muffin Man, you think, oh, that's a cute, jolly song. Now I'm starting to think about the fucking, what's that lady who had like sheep and shit?
Oh, Mary. Mary had a little
Mary
lamb.
had a little lamb. Shit, I gotta look into that one. See
Mary,
where
what
that
the fuck
came-
were you doing with those lambs?
There might be a dark history behind that.
Oh God, damn. Yeah. I don't think I've never heard any like backstory to these old folk songs, you
Yeah.
know? Like I've never heard anything bad about them. So to think that the Muffin Man was a fucking
Serial killer.
psycho serial killer, yeah, that's fucking crazy.
Yep.
So it's funny because we kind of like moved on from muffins. Now it's candy, right? In a
Candy,
creepy
yeah.
van.
You hear about it. Don't take candy from strangers.
Yeah,
and,
don't take
you know.
candy from strangers, and don't jump into creepy vans with strangers, right?
So it sounds like,
So did he have a cart also?
I don't think he had a cart. I don't know. He might have had a cart. I mean, they say.
How do you go around with just muffins? Do you just have a sack of muffins?
Obviously, poverty might have been a bad thing back then, or like it's still a bad thing, but like back then in certain areas of England, that might have been a huge problem.
Yeah.
Hungry kids and stuff.
But most of the time also like serial killers, like people that are like messed up in the head like this, they're
Yeah.
usually really smart people also.
And
so
they-
they usually have a plan
Yeah.
on how to execute these things.
And back then it must have been so much harder to catch a serial killer.
Right.
I mean, you have still Jack the Ripper.
Yeah, yeah, that too.
Very famous serial killer who's never been caught to this day. I think they have an idea of who he was.
Yeah.
But they can't, obviously, with this much amount of time passing,
Yeah.
they can't prove if it actually was him.
Yeah. I've heard the stories of Jack the Ripper, but I've never actually looked into like any of his murders or killings or anything like
It
that
was
either.
brutal. I think it was his third one that was really gruesome. Third
it?
or fourth one. They say he might have been like a doctor or a surgeon, because they say all his victims, the cuts were clean and precise. Like there was no
No jagged.
Yeah, there was no jagged edges. Like when he wasn't someone making multiple cuts, it was one consistent cut.
Just one clean cut.
Yeah, and I think there was I can't remember if it was him or a different serial killer I'm thinking of, but there was a victim where their liver was taken out and half of it was eaten, but the cut to get to the liver was just clean.
Clean. Wow, that's insane.
And I think it was his third one. Like I think he peeled her face back pretty much. And there's photos of it. It's gruesome. It's fucking horrible. And they were all prostitutes.
Okay.
All
right.
the Victorian ages. So there was rumor that maybe, he had his mother or someone might have been.
Oh, so this was a long time ago.
Yeah. I think Jack the Ripper was the 1600s.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, yeah. So
okay. We'll fact check this.
Fact check. Yeah, we'll fact check it, but I think I'm pretty sure because, that's one of the things. Have you noticed nowadays, like there's a lot of podcasts out there or YouTube videos where that's the trend is like these serial killers and stuff. Because, we are fascinated by them. Like what makes them fucking tick? Yeah. Like it's mind blowing.
But why are you guys, the listeners, more fascinated to hear about it than the people actually talking
You're
about it?
You're all sick. But I'll keep giving you that content.
Absolutely. Here. Enjoy it.
Enjoy. But it's fucking crazy. Like I'm fascinated by serial killers. I could probably talk about serial killers all day long.
Yeah. I think what fascinates me about like serial killers is just the fact of like what's going through their minds. You know what I mean? Like the way they think and how they execute
justify
their
certain
plan.
things.
Yeah, how they justify like what they did and why they did it.
What made them snap?
Exactly.
So have you ever? They say there's this fact out there. I think they say on average, I can't remember the exact number. On average, there's like 20 or 50 active serial killers out there. Obviously, there might be a lot more that just aren't caught or just starting up.
I think I have heard this,
They say that the chances of you running into someone who's actually killed someone is very, that's like 1 out of 100 or something like that. I don't know if that's an actual, the right number. I'll have to double check that as well. But I know it's a lot more likely than you would think that you'd run into someone who's actually killed someone.
That's crazy.
Of a horrible crime.
Yeah. It reminds me because, when we go out in public and go to like a big city or something like that, I don't know how many people think about this. I might be just weird and actually start putting thought into this kind of stuff, but I see people out in the streets and I start thinking, it's like, what is that person's weird habit?
That is weird. I do that too. I don't know if I do it the exact same way as you do it, but I try to think of like how this person is when
because
no one's
you see
looking.
people out in public, right? And you think like they're innocent. They don't look like they might be weird or anything like that, right? Like they look well dressed and stuff like that, but probably most likely they have like some weird secret thing that they're into at home and that nobody would ever expect, and you just see them walking down the street like, hey,
like
that's
maybe it's
a normal person right there.
Maybe it's a weird kink or someone like, but then again, like I know a lot of people, or I've heard this before, that a lot of people who've killed like get aroused by certain things.
Yeah.
Like by killing they actually get aroused.
Yeah.
Like certain serial killers and stuff. Like it is a turn on for them.
Right.
It makes you wonder, like, how many have you actually come across? Have you bumped into, or you were within a certain vicinity of?
It makes you, it makes you think, and that's what I'm saying. Like I've gone to, like I go out in public and I think about that kind of stuff. I, see somebody like walking right past me. It's like, okay.
And the weird thing is, right? Have you ever noticed how the majority of serial killers they look like your average person. They look like they're friendly.
You would never expect it.
And it's always the same thing, right? They're like, he was a neighbor. He was the friendliest guy. We've had him over for dinner.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He always said hi and stuff. And little do they know that person was fucking mentally
unstable.
Ill. Unstable. And that dude was keeping people in his fucking basement.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's crazy to think that that's the type of person that always ends up being like the serial killer, the mentally insane, somebody like that. It's like you would never suspect.
Yeah, and it's trying to see that one breadcrumb that they're either knowingly let out there, or they just they weren't aware that they were letting that be observed,
right?
To see, hey, that don't seem right.
Absolutely. Like it reminds me of the case of the guy. I think it was up in Greeley, up in Fort Collins, like way up there. his whole family, you know, when he killed his daughters and I think it was his wife, and he ended up like taking them over to that silo. Was it a silo or it was a?
Oh, I know which one
like
you're talking about.
the guy that worked in the oil
The
field or
guy
something like that.
who left his family for or he was having an affair, and
Yeah.
then he decided instead of letting them go,
Yeah.
this piece of shit
Decided to kill them, yeah.
killed his wife
And his daughters,
two daughters. Mm-hmm. Like his daughters were, I think one of them was, they're both really young, but
Yeah,
one of
they
them
were
was
young,
like
yeah.
what, 3 or 4,
Something like that,
What
yeah.
kind of a piece of shit could
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
do that? And then his neighbor is the one who caught him,
Yeah.
because when they went over, if it wasn't for the neighbor and the wife's friend, I think he might have got away with it. And this
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
is, there are just some people who, like, you ever notice like certain cops and stuff, like this isn't to bash all cops.
Yeah.
There are some people out there in the force that are good fucking people.
They actually do
they do their job,
They
their
do
due
their job.
diligence. And there are some people who just, I get it. You're, after being on the force for so long, you think
They're
you've
just
seen it all.
there.
You're on autopilot. So yeah, you're just checking boxes.
Yep.
But they showed, from the videos I've seen of this dude, they went to the neighbor's house and they were like, well, he's got video camera. And the neighbor was like, hey, when he was showing the video of him loading something up into his truck and
Yeah.
then taking off, and then he walked away, the neighbor's like, that motherfucker looks suspicious. Not
Yeah.
of, hey, he's worried what happened to my wife and kids.
Yeah.
He looks nervous as in, hey, you just caught me on camera
Yeah.
committing the crime.
But it was funny because like they were recording the whole thing, like recording them watching the video, and you can literally see him, like shaking, like nervous, like, oh shit, they see me right there on camera, but somehow nobody like really noticed it, like right
Yeah.
there from like the get-go, like right away.
And you notice how he was checking? I don't know if you saw the same video, but he was like looking at the cop,
Yeah.
looking back, and he was like, "Are you noticing?"
Yeah, like
that
did
I
you,
just
did you
committed that
just see
crime?
that? Yeah, exactly. It's crazy, and that's that was my point exactly. You know, like neighbors have lived next to this man, you know, to assume, you know, a long time, few years or whatever. And you would never think that somebody like that, you know, like is going through that kind of those kind of issues, those kind of like problems, and their solution was to essentially, like get rid of their family, kill them, and
instead of saying, "Hey, it's not working out. I found
Yeah.
someone else. I want
Exactly.
to leave you." Be a fucking man and be like, "Hey, I still have kids.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take care of them." Instead, this dude wanted to do a whole delete.
Yeah.
It's as if he was like, "I don't want to have to start with this lady," and
Yeah.
she's like, "Hey, I like you, but you got baggage." And
Mm-hmm.
this dude his mindset was, "Let me just fucking get rid of this. Like it's trash."
Yeah.
But they're human fucking beings.
Exactly.
And what's crazy is like I heard he was he had a very good job. The neighborhood he lived in was a very nice neighborhood.
Exactly, yeah.
So you see this man walking around with his wife, 2 kids, and you would think, oh, that's a happy family.
Yeah.
They have it all together. Little did you know that guy was a piece of shit.
Absolutely. And it's crazy because, you know, the other story was recently that the stepmom for that little kid up in the Springs.
Oh, yeah, that was a sad one.
That was a sad one,
That was
too.
near
like,
your home.
that was in my neighborhood, actually.
That's fuck. Because I remember driving to your house and I was like, hey, what are all these they were blue ribbons, weren't they?
Bunch of blue ribbons, blue lights, you know, like a lot of people, like that's how they did like their memorial, I guess. His memorial is just his favorite color was blue.
And were
essentially.
they thinking that if they put up a blue ribbons and stuff, he might like be, because did the kid have like autism or something like that?
I can't
can't
remember. I don't think so. I think he was just, you know, like he might have had like some issues going on or whatever, but you know, nothing out of the ordinary. Like it wasn't like, you know, out of the normal for the kid. But yeah, basically, you know, we went on this big old search, you know, around the neighborhood and everything like that. It was crazy because we saw like mounted patrols, like people in ATVs, you know, going out into the fields and stuff like that.
For the viewers and those listening, explain a little bit more of what had happened.
So like the kid basically like went to school and he never came back from school, right? So like you know, a normal day, you know, you go to school at whatever time, 8 o'clock in the morning or something like that, yeah. And the kid never came back. So that's when they said, it's like, oh, he went to a friend's house after school. But then the friend was like, no, he never came home with me, right? Like he was never here. So then, like the story started basically getting progressing, right? So like a lot of people were like, hey, keep an eye out for this kid around the neighborhood, et cetera, et cetera. And the kid was nowhere to be found. And then they said, oh, he might be with another family member, et cetera, et cetera. And again, nowhere to be found. And then that's when basically like all hands on deck, like, okay, now we're on a full search.
Yeah.
What's crazy is that I think everybody or a lot of people from the get-go already knew what might have happened.
Kind of
because
suspected.
If you noticed, what I've noticed in the past is that whenever you fill out a missing persons report, police will kind of like wait and see what happens, like let things run their course.
Yeah.
But for this kid specifically, they kind of like immediately jumped into action. So like I think they might have like known like there were maybe some things in the story that didn't line up.
There was foul play.
Exactly. And that's what kind of like let me know it's like, okay, there might be something fishy going on here. Okay, but like I wasn't about to like start assuming anything.
So it was, if I can remember correctly, it was the father who was in the service, right?
Yeah, his dad was in the service, and he was deployed at the time, I believe, or he was out in training, and then stepmom
was watching the
kid, at home, et cetera, et cetera.
So was it the stepmom who filed the missing report, or was it the biological mother? Was it the...
I can't remember who it was, but like basically like she wasn't too worried about like the missing persons report.
It was the mother.
It was just like the neighbors.
Right?
The neighbors really are the ones that were like pushing towards it. Once the neighbors kind of like got involved and said like, hey, we need to find this kid.
Yeah.
That's when mom's like, damn, okay, I need to...
That was stepmom, right?
Yeah, stepmom was like, okay, I need to... I guess play my part in this now.
And it sucks because like the dad came home and he was like pretty much blindsided by it. What the fuck is going on? Where's my kid?
Where the fuck's my kid? Yeah, exactly.
And for the viewers and listeners, to make a long story short, it was the stepmom.
It was the stepmom. Yeah, they ended up finding the kid down in South Carolina.
Yeah, she drove him all the way down there. Or no.
I think, she did drive him all the way down there.
I don't even know how they tracked it that far. I can't remember. It's a crazy story. We'll have you an update on the next episode. We'll fact check that one.
Yeah.
That one just popped up into our head.
But it
wasn't something that was planned.
It was definitely somewhere in the South. They found the body parts down in the South, and that's when they kind of like, okay, now... we got her now, basically. And then she got arrested out in South Carolina. Then she ended up claiming, insanity and all that kind of stuff.
They all fucking do.
Of course.
Yeah.
And then they what's that word? Extradited?
Extradited. Yeah,
Extradited
they brought her back to Colorado.
Yes, they brought her back to Colorado, and now she's facing trial. So, yeah, everything's going according to how it's supposed to now. But that was a long... drug out process for that kid, and it's sad. Definitely it sucks because like this was literally a neighbor, basically.
It's crazy, right? When you see it firsthand, like obviously those who are watching certain news channels and stuff, and they see the impact on certain things, you feel a certain level of sadness about a certain crime or story, but then when you see it physically with your own eyes, just the devastation, like the impact that it had on the neighborhood. Yeah, you're like, damn. Because I remember driving your house and I was like, there's a lot of blue ribbons. I didn't understand what they were for. And
and then to this day,
they're still there.
There's to this day, there's still like blue ribbons out. Like some people leave their porch lights on with a blue light on there. Yeah. So some people have actually left just like one light, like on their porch light as blue, and then the rest of them just keep them like normal white light, I've noticed
like Colorado has, as far as living here, I've learned a lot of facts about like certain people that have been caught here, or certain serial killers that were started from here. Colorado has a shit ton of fucking psycho motherfuckers. Oh, yeah. Disgusting human beings.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Did you know, what was his name? Ed Gein. Is it Ed Gein that I'm thinking of? They made a Netflix show, and it's called, I think it's called Criminal Minds, where it's the dude who killed his mom The dude has
Jesus.
a genius IQ. I think it was like 160 as IQ. It
Yeah.
was really high. He got caught because he liked to brag.
Yeah.
So this dude, viewer discretion is advised. He cut his mom's head off and had sex with the body.
Good
Through
Lord.
the neck.
Yeah.
So, yeah. This
Okay.
dude got caught here in Pueblo, Colorado.
Surprise, surprise.
He called the station. He was tired of being on the run. And he called and said, hey, come pick me up. I'm at so-and-so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a huge serial killer.
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
they made a whole show around him.
See, it goes back to my point again. You know, like a lot of these serial killers, they're really smart people. Like they literally know how they're gonna plan everything out.
Yep.
They're gonna they have a plan for everything, and it's crazy to think, you know, because in a sense, it's like that's wasted talent, basically. You know, you could have been doing good things for society.
If you put that much effort into something as hard as killing someone and trying to get away with it, which is fucking almost impossible now in today's day and age.
Yeah.
If you could apply that to anything else in any particular field, you'd probably
excel. Yeah,
you'd crazily.
Yeah, you'd be top of your field.
You notice how most serial killers, how they get caught is because when you commit a crime so great or
Of course.
so if you commit a crime so in your mind as a killer so perfectly,
Yeah.
you kind of want recognition for it, right?
Absolutely,
So
yeah.
they say the majority of the time every serial killer will actually they'll return to the scene of the crime,
Yeah.
or they'll somehow leave a clue because it's kind of like they're flirting with it. They want to get caught,
Yeah.
but they don't. And obviously one of the scariest ones out there who was never caught was the Zodiac Killer.
Oh,
This
yeah,
dude
that's
left
right.
notes after note, and he even called into I think it was TV stations. He left a voice message saying, "I wonder who's going to play me in the future in a movie." Never caught him. The guy they think was the Zodiac
crazy.
Killer died, I want to say, early 2000s.
No shit.
Yeah,
Jesus
they did
Christ.
some DNA tests, and they go, we think it was him.
We think
Yep.
it was him, but it's hard to say now, right? Like, because obviously, like a lot of these cases go unresolved, and some of these people, as we see, you know, like the Zodiac Killer and Jack the Ripper, you know, like never been caught per se, and by now it's like, well, they're already gone.
Yeah,
Again, just goes back to like you never know what
never.
somebody next to you is gonna do, like who's gonna finally snap.
Ladies and gentlemen, spy on your neighbors. Be careful of your surroundings. Stay strapped. If you don't like guns, well, you best know how to fucking fight.
I hope you know how to fight. Yeah.
I hope you're good at hand-to-hand combat. You know, I don't know how well you're going to do against a gun, but hey, the rule is 15 feet. That's the danger zone.
Yeah.
If you even have a knife, look it up. The saying, never bring a knife to a gunfight.
Yeah.
That has been proven that if you were within like 15 feet, a knife is very fucking dangerous, even against a gun.
Definitely.
Because you can run up on someone before unless they have it drawn on you already.
Yeah, they're already,
And there's one in the chamber. You still, and you know, adrenaline's a hell of a bitch. So
Yeah,
like, you can,
absolutely.
there's always the thing. I know we're running out of time here, but there's the thing where they're like, "Why do you need more than one round?" I've seen motherfuckers get shot 15 times.
Oh, yeah.
And the adrenaline is what's pushing them through.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, they're gonna die soon. But hey, if they can reach you and they got a knife in their hand,
Oh, yeah.
they still got a fighting chance to take you with them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But on that note,
Stay strapped, stay safe, and catch you guys next time. If you guys enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And if you guys are listening on the podcast, please leave us a good rating if you haven't already, and follow us if you haven't already and you just discovered us.
social media, Instagram. Cup of Joe with the J's.
Cup of Joe with the J's.
And
our YouTube channel is Coffee and Nerds.
Yeah, Coffee and
Nerds, yeah. So we have like 2 podcasts with that, and we're running out of time right here, and we're gonna leave it on that note.
All right.
Outro song.